So, why are we here today? So, we're SaneBox. My name is Dimitri, and over the last five or so years, while building and improving and optimizing SaneBox, we've talked to probably thousands of people, looked at a ton of data, and really try to figure out what are the best workflows and kind of processes for managing your email. And one of the really interesting things is a lot of our customers are, I would call them email super users. And these are people who get like 1,000 emails per day. It's the VCs, the CEOs, and just really public people. And from our observation, those people really are the most responsive. They get to inbox zero every day. And so we try to figure out what is it about those kind of really productive emailers that differentiates them from everyone else, and try to figure out what do they do differently and what can we learn from them. So this is really what this presentation is about. So at SaneBox, as I mentioned, we've been doing this for a while, and we have customers at a lot of companies, and so the findings that we will share today really apply to all professionals. Our target our best customers are professionals who use email for work, and not so much consumer use cases. So what we'll do is we'll start with the 3 email commandments, and these are kind of the top high-level principles for better email management. Then we'll dive into the inbox zero rules, and lastly, look at how SaneBox helps you get the most out of the inbox zero rules, and helps you process your email much easier. And then we'll finish with any questions that you have. So please, if you have any questions related to email in general or SaneBox more specifically, just type them into the questions box, and we'll address them. So let's dive in. Commandment number 1, email is like the game of Tetris. And the problem is that no matter how good you are at processing your inbox, just like no matter how good you are at Tetris, you will eventually lose. And this is because, again, as you process each email or clear a row in Tetris, more emails keep coming, and they accelerate. So every year, the amount of email keeps increasing. And so if today an average professional spends 13 hours a week dealing with their inbox, as the volume of emails increases, that number is going to keep rising until it takes up 100% of your day, which is just not okay. And the solution to this is that something needs to change. You need to change the game and not try to beat the game. And that something is you, unfortunately. So you need to think about email differently. You need a system, you need a better process, and you need the right tools to help you in this game. Commandment number 2, and this is probably the most important takeaway. So if you learn anything from this presentation, it should be this. Email has become our default number 1 priority. So, you wake up, you look on your phone, check your inbox. You get into the office, you open Outlook or whatever your email client of choice is, start typing away, and next thing you know, it's lunchtime, and you haven't done anything other than reply to a bunch of emails. And the problem with this is that email is essentially or better said, your inbox is a to-do list that other people can write on for you. So if doing email is your kind of default unconscious number 1 priority, that means other people's priorities are your number 1 priority. And there's definitely something wrong with that. So the solution to this is our scan, block, ask system. Scan your email for important and urgent items in the morning, then close your inbox and get to work on your own to-do list. Number 2, you can do this comfortably knowing that you have set up appointments on your calendar for processing email. So every day at 11 o'clock, I have a half-hour appointment called email time. And so this is literally my time for processing my email. It can be 30 minutes, it can be 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever, whatever time you need. But the important point here is that you need to schedule that time. You need to be in control of how much time email sucks out of your day. And then lastly, if you ever get sucked into quote unquote doing email, ask yourself if clearing your inbox is the best use of time for you right now. Most of the time, the answer will be no. Once in a while, you do have to clear it out, but again, it will be a conscious decision. Commandment number 3: not all emails are created equal. The problem is that every email interface, whether it is Outlook, Gmail, your phone, every email interface gives the same amount of space on the screen to each email. And so subconsciously for our brain, it's very difficult to differentiate between an email from an important customer and a newsletter that you never read. It takes focus, and it takes kind of brain cycles to process that difference. And so the solution to this is that, and so what this does is essentially it causes us to, it causes what's called attention switching. And so for your brain to kind of switch focus between important, unimportant, 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 important, unimportant, 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 is very difficult. And so the solution to this is essentially there are 3 buckets of emails that need to be processed completely differently. The urgent and important, these are the ones you need to deal with right now. So these are the emails that should be dealt with right away. There are not urgent and important items, and these are the ones you should deal with later. And then finally, the unimportant emails. And these are the ones that you just need to deal with in bulk. So delete or archive, but the key here is, again, in bulk. And so this is really where SaneBox comes into play. So let's talk about it a little bit more. Inbox zero. I'm not sure how many folks are familiar with inbox zero rules, but essentially, a lot of people think that inbox zero is just the fact of having no emails in your inbox. That's not true. Inbox zero is a set of rules for processing your email so that you consistently have 0 emails in your inbox. And the overarching principle is to never touch the same email twice. When an email comes into your inbox, there are only 5 things you can do with it: delete or archive, defer, delegate, respond, or do. So what does that mean? At SaneBox, essentially, we developed a set of tools to help you get there, to help you do these 5 things effectively. So for bulk delete and archive, we have the SaneLater, which I think most of you are familiar with, Sane Black Hole, which is our unsubscribed folder. You can also set up custom training folders. The defer bucket. So these are these important but not urgent emails. Most people tend to leave them in their inbox, but the much more effective, and there's a lot of research behind it, is to snooze them out of your inbox until you're ready. And so that's where Sane Snooze comes into play. For delegating or responding, we've developed the Sane Reminders feature, which is probably our most popular feature, and I'll walk you through how to use it. And then lastly, the do bucket. These are the emails that actually require you to do real work. So we cannot help you, do real work that's required. But the good news is if you follow steps 1 through 4 above, then the only emails left will be the ones that you deal with today. And then anything that you haven't dealt with at the end of the day, my favorite trick is to move them into the Sane Tomorrow folder, and then I finish my day with inbox zero. So now let's see how this works. So this is your inbox before SaneBox, without SaneBox. So as you can see, a lot of emails in your inbox. As soon as you implement SaneBox, we move unimportant emails out of your inbox into a separate folder called SaneLater. So the first thing that we do is delete or archive unimportant stuff. So what we recommend, and what I do personally, is go through this this folder once a day, twice a day. Sometimes it's every couple of days. Whatever. The key is that you need to go through them because once in a while something might catch your attention. And the way it works is if there's an important email that ended up in Sane Later, just drag it into your inbox. And vice versa. If a unimportant email is in your inbox, just drag it to Sane Later, and that immediately trains SaneBox on what you like to see where. So after processing, scanning through these, what I do is select all and hit delete. So essentially, I process all of these unimportant emails with one click. If you're 100% sure that you never want to hear from a person or a sender again, move them into the Sane black hole folder. So you can, by default, when you first sign up for SaneBox, you only have the Sane Later folder. You can also enable the optional Sane folder. So Sane black hole is one of them. So if you go to the Features tab and under Sane folders, you'll see all of the optional folders you can enable. So Sane black hole is essentially the unsubscribed folder. So when you move an email into it, all future emails from the sender go straight to trash. So it's just like unsubscribing, but easier and safer, and you're not exposing yourself as a real person to a potential sender who may put you on more mailing lists. So and then you can also enable custom or kind of more granular filtering folders. Personally, I just have Sane Later. I prefer to have only in my inbox for important stuff and Sane Later for unimportant stuff. By the way, if you don't like the name Sane Later, you can just rename any of our folders right from whatever email interface you use. So obviously we use Gmail here, but it works the same way in Outlook on your phone. So just rename the folder to whatever you want, and SaneBox will notice that that's what happened. With additional kind of advanced filtering, you can enable the Sane News folder, and this is for newsletters and mailing lists. You can enable Sane Bulk, which is for receipts and other kind of reference emails that you only need for reference. And you can also set up custom training folders. So, a lot of our customers have a folder for family. And so when you click create, it will take a couple of minutes. We already have that one. But it will take a couple of minutes. This folder will appear in your email. And then as you start dragging emails into that folder, it will teach SaneBox what you like to see in it. So now we've discovered how we deal with unimportant emails. So now let's move on to the snooze, the defer bucket. So if there's an email that that's important, but you just don't need it, it's not actionable or it's not urgent. Let's say this email I'm not going to deal with until tomorrow. So I'm going to move it into the Sane Tomorrow folder, and tomorrow morning is going to pop back in my inbox. This email I don't need until next week. So it's a flight that I'm flying on Monday. And then if I move an email into Sane next week, it's going to pop back in my inbox on Monday morning. You can also set up custom snooze folders. So here's the snooze folder selection. You can set up custom Sane snooze folder to hold emails for a certain number of days, hours, or weeks, or to hold it until, let's say, Saturday, or 1st of the month, or the 30th of the month. So this is how we process those emails that just don't need to be dealt with right away. Then for the delegate and reply bucket. So if there's somebody on your team who should be dealing with your email, you can forward it to them, or reply. It works the same way. And so let's say if you forward it to somebody on your team, I'm going to send it to john@sanebox.com. And then if I want to make sure that John gets back to me, I can CC or BCC tomorrow 9 a.m. at sanebox.com. Or it can be 3 days at sanebox.com. Or it can be, June 10th, 8 a.m. at sanebox.com. So pretty much any syntax you can imagine. And if you don't get a response from John by that time that you specified, and it should only be one of these. Well, actually, you can have multiple send reminder addresses, and in this case, we'll just send you 2 reminders at these times. So in this case, if you don't get a response from John by tomorrow at 9 a.m., you'll get a reminder to follow up by 9 a.m. Now, if you want to get the reminder regardless of whether or not you get a response, add the word keep to it. So keep.tomorrow 9 a.m. Will send you a reminder even if John does reply to you by then. Now, one of the interesting things is if you CC this address, then John will know that you're expecting a reply by this time. So this is great for delegating to somebody on your team. Now, if you're sending an email to a customer and you don't necessarily want them to know that you're tracking them, you can put it in BCC, and then they won't find out. So last but not least, so this deals with delegate and reply emails. Now, if at the end of the day you haven't dealt with all of the emails left that you need to process, what I like to do is drag them into Sane tomorrow, and I finish my day with inbox 0. Now, those emails will pop back in my inbox tomorrow morning, but there's a lot of science on the tremendous mental effects of having a clean inbox. So this is actually really good for your productivity, really good for your psychological well-being. And that is the basic kind of SaneBox workflow. We have several other features that you can enable. So you can, we haven't talked about Sane Not Spam. Sane Not Spam folder rescues emails from your spam filter that were caught there by mistake. So if an important email gets sucked into your spam folder, we will notice and fish it out. Sane Attachments is a great feature. It monitors your inbox for incoming attachments and moves them to Dropbox, Box, IBM Connections, Google Drive, or Evernote. And you can even add a link to the email with the link to the actual file on Dropbox. So you can forward it as you normally would, but instead of forwarding this heavy attachment, you're just sending a quick link. And then one of the other things I wanted to highlight is our training. So we have a lot of kind of advanced filtering rules. So I'll just touch on a couple of them. Auto replies go to. So if you're tired or if you hate auto replies as much as I do, set them to go to your Sane Later folder. So in this case, regardless of how important so even if it's an important person sending you an auto reply, that auto reply will go into Sane Later. If you send it to Sane Black Hole, then this auto reply will go to just straight to your trash. But the normal emails from that person will continue going to wherever they go today. And then this one is important. SaneBox intelligence settings. So by default, we enable the smart intelligence settings. What that means is if SaneBox is not sure if it's a new contact that you don't have really any history with or just unknown email, we will move it out of your inbox. If you're in sales, for instance, and you rely on emails from new people, then choose moderate. In this case, basically, if SaneBox is not sure what to do, it will leave it in your inbox. So your inbox will be a little bit more full. You'll find more unimportant stuff there. But training those emails immediately teaches SaneBox how to moving those emails to the correct place will teach us immediately. And then last but not least, if you're a control freak, you can choose the manual intelligence setting. What happens then is basically SaneBox doesn't move anything out unless you train it. So everything will stay in your inbox. And then as you move emails out of your inbox into Sane Later or other folders, we will notice what you are trying to do. That concludes our webinar. If anybody has any questions, please please ask away. Type them in the questions box. And otherwise, if you have any questions later, we have an amazing support team. So if you email support@sanebox.com, our team will get back to you very, very quickly. And it can be questions about SaneBox. It can be questions about email in general. So don't hesitate to reach out to us with any questions, suggestions, or just to say hi. Thank you very much, folks.